One autumn morning, a strange event happened in an abandoned mansion outside of town. I had heard a lot about this house over the years, but no one ever knew exactly what was going on there. The townspeople had always kept their distance from the Walbrook family. All anyone knew for sure was that something strange was going on in that house. It was so strange that whenever it was mentioned, a silence would fall over the conversation. I was the town's postman. I knew many people, and everyone trusted me. So, when I was asked to deliver an envelope to the abandoned Walbrook mansion, I thought it was just another part of my job. The envelope was simple, with just Walbrook House written on it. There was no address, no name, nothing else. I immediately felt uneasy. This shouldn't be this simple, I thought. But, as usual, I was just the postman, and I had to deliver it. Still, I had a feeling that delivering this envelope would bring trouble. When I arrived at the house, the door was open. But the inside of the house was just as strange as people had described. My eyes immediately went to the paintings on the walls. In every room, there was the same portrait, the same man, with the same stern expression. The man was wearing a dark suit, and his face was tense. It was in so many rooms that it started to disturb me. Seeing that portrait in every room felt like it had some kind of meaning, but I didn't know what it was. As I kept examining the portrait, something felt off. Why was that same man in every room? I needed to know who he was and why he was there. While I still had to deliver the envelope, my curiosity about this man grew. I started exploring the other rooms, and in one of them, I found an old cupboard. It was something people in town never really paid attention to, but I walked up to it. When I opened it, it wasn't entirely empty. There was something inside. A key. The key was strangely old, but it looked valuable. Where did it belong? What was it for? I picked it up, but at the same time, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was something more to this house. As I walked through the rooms, I noticed there were tiny writings under the paintings. They were so small, they were almost impossible to see at first. What did they say? I decided to get a closer look. Under the portrait, I found a phrase, "Stars are always hidden within the night." What did that mean? As I thought about it, it felt like there was something hidden in those paintings. But what? I couldn't stop thinking about the envelope. So, I decided to go to the town library. The librarian, an elderly woman, knew the town's history well. I asked her about the Walbrook family's past. Her face suddenly went pale, and she took a deep breath. "The history of that house is filled with the town's darkest fears," she said. Michael Winters. He was once the owner of this town. But no one really remembers him anymore because so many people went missing. No one could ever figure out what happened. After that day, no one spoke of him again. The name Michael Winters echoed in my mind. Was he the one? Was he the one responsible for all the disappearances in town? The townspeople had seen him doing strange things, but no one knew exactly what had happened. The people who disappeared never came back. Now, as I thought about the paintings and the writings, I was sure that the man in the portrait was Michael Winters. Was he the one involved in all these dark deeds? The next day, I decided to go back to Walbrook House. But this time, I didn't want to go alone. I invited a few townsfolk to come with me. When we entered the house, it felt like time had stopped. Everything was in its place, but there was something wrong with the air. It felt like something had changed. As we explored the rooms, I noticed that the paintings were becoming even more unsettling. Eventually, I came across a door to the basement, which was open. I went down, and there, I saw something strange. In the mirror, the silhouette of Michael Winters appeared. But it was so clear, his eyes were staring directly at me. At that moment, everything froze. It wasn't just a reflection. It was him, or something of him, standing there, staring at me. I could feel his presence. "Don't go. You need to find me," he seemed to say. I backed away, but the moment I did, the image in the mirror disappeared. The house fell into silence once again. We had unknowingly stepped into a secret that we could never understand. Everything had turned into a painting. Later, when I returned to town, everything felt different. I had gotten a deeper sense of the secrets in that house, but I still didn't understand them. That night, something strange happened. The house had a new painting, and in this new painting, the face was mine. From then on, no one ever dared to approach Walbrook House again. Because in that house, the portraits of the missing people were still there, and every missing person eventually became a portrait.